play the intro. We'll get this one. All right. So I've
Well, I
got
got
you
to get on
live.
first.
Oh, I thought you already were. See, look,
No.
you're
Before you
fine.
start, who's Dale and who's
I'm Dale.
I'm David.
Hi, nice to meet you, Lori.
Dave? Okay.
I'm
David's the one
David that's
we
hiding from you.
DC's the one we don't pay any attention to.
No,
So you
no.
know.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
All right. How's
DC,
it
I'm
looking
showing
on
us.
your end?
We're live on YouTube right now. I'm switching over so I can get everything pulled
All
up.
right.
there.
Hey.
All right. Welcome in. Welcome in. Whenever you're ready, we can start the intro. Everybody is live.
Sounds good.
So we are good.
Hi, this is Ivan from Men Without Hats, and you're listening live from Nashville to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So guys, take it away.
Sign that guy up.
I'm telling you, we should pay him triple zero.
Triple zeros.
Triple zeros all the way through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
I am DC.
And we're here to take you on another fantastic look
Fantastic.
back at all things 80. DC, how's your week been, brother?
It's been a week.
That is definite. It has been a week. So yes. Man, I tell you what,
Oh,
I am really excited tonight. We have Lori Tucker coming on. Lori, thank you for joining us. But DC, I'm gonna throw it over to you so you can get the full introduction in.
Well, before I do the introduction, let me let our co-host.
There we go.
Christina
I was wondering.
in.
All right.
She wanted to meet Lori and be a part of this.
Amazing,
tonight.
amazing.
So we're
First message has come in. Thank God Christina's the co-host. We don't have to hear DH and DC.
There she is.
Hey, Christina,
Can y'all
how
see
are
me?
you?
Oh, there I am.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Hey
Hi,
there.
how
Long
are you?
time no see.
I
Yeah, it's been a
know.
while. It's been a minute.
Yes. Yes. good
Welcome
to see
in.
you.
Welcome in.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we have
And-
Christina
Yes.
in joining us, our friend that's been on a few times with us.
And Christina, since you're here, I'm going to kick back and just relax.
yeah, we'll just let you have the show.
I
right.
don't know the-
Heroes.
No, it's our honor to welcome
Oh,
in
definitely.
Lori Tucker.
Yes.
Lori was a 80s music video and print model. And she was in several of those videos. The one that we, DH, will be close to our heart is Little Van Halen, though.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Hot
yeah.
for Teacher. She
Yes.
did that one for sure. So, Lori, how are you?
I'm great. We're doing a little better. We had a little tiny bit of rain because LA doesn't know how to squeeze water out of the clouds.
Well, first of all those folks out there, we're in, you're in our
Yes.
thoughts.
Your thoughts and prayers.
And,
yes.
So much.
That's just terrible. And
It was
the rest of
absolutely
the country's with you. That's for sure.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It was, hurricanes with water. This was literally a hurricane with fire. It was
Yeah.
Sure.
crazy.
Awful.
Yes.
But,
Oh.
Oh, bless all
Terrible.
those people.
yeah. But there's a lot of people doing a lot of really great stuff, holding
Sure, good.
fundraisers, and people have really stepped up. So that's been really amazing. So
Fantastic.
thank you, everybody.
Fantastic.
Especially thank you, first responders. My gosh.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Those
Sure.
guys deserve pizza.
They're
and all
wonderful.
They can
Yeah.
drink, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and it's such an awesome thing to see them coming from all over the
Yeah.
country and the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
To
definitely.
help with that. They're all brothers in arms, brothers and sisters, and
Mhm.
they're going to come to the rescue and help out whenever they can. I know that. So
It was fantastic. That
yeah,
was really
that's
good.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, talk to me about this first. Let me start out. It's the one that you hear a zillion times,
Yeah.
but I'm interested.
Yeah.
When did you get into the modeling and all that that you were interested in wanting to do that as a career?
Yeah, well, I was a teenager. I was really young. I actually, really the very, very beginnings. Do you remember Montgomery Wards, the department store?
Yes.
Gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of
We
course.
Yes.
call it Monkey Wards.
Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Out of us. So they had this little class. It was kind of like I don't know if it was an etiquette class. I don't know what you call it, but it was a 6-week course once a week, and they just incorporated in that. They would in the store had a cafeteria, And they taught us how to tea room model, which was just walking around the tables as the patrons ate, and modeling the clothing from the clothing department. And
Wow.
fortunately, we had to give that back afterward. But yeah, we did things like that. And eventually, once you finished that, they would take us to, we'll do buyer shows, and we would put clothes on from the store. And then we started getting, what we'd do is get points instead of cash, but then we would spend the points in the store and buy clothes or whatever we wanted. So through that, they had a Girl of the Month, and I was Miss June. And then they had Girl of the Year. And first year, my good friend, who became a radio DJ later, won. And then the next year, I won, and she got to crown me Miss.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Montgomery Ward.
Was it scary at first? Was it
well,
intimidating?
No, I was a young teen, and that was all just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So through that, I actually started to meet photographers that would come in and take pictures at the contests and things like that. And I started to do some testings with them, and that's where they get pictures for their book, and I get pictures for my book, and that's how you start to put a portfolio
Oh,
together.
wonderful.
Yeah, and one of them told me, go down to the art center out here in Pasadena, where Van Halen's from.
Yep.
Just saying. And get a list of photographers that want to test. And that's really where I found a lot of really great photographers, and some of them were wanting to do fashion. And so I put a book together, and through somebody I tested through that, actually booked me for kind of a catalog for Buffum's, which was a department store out here a long time ago. Then I got an agency, and very soon after I did, an agent from Paris came and
Wow.
asked me to come to Paris. Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
I was
What an incredible opportunity.
That's cool stuff.
I just turned 18, and he said,
Wow.
ready to go next month? And
Were you like, wee wee?
Yeah.
said, "PP, I mean, wee."
Yeah. Either way.
I said, I want to have Christmas. I think it was November when I saw them. So I said, I want to have Christmas at home, and then I'll come. So I left California, where it was probably like 90 degrees out, with a huge Foot Locker full of all the wrong clothing, to Paris, which was about 32 degrees, not snowing, cold enough to snow.
It's an adjustment.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite the cultural shock for sure.
I
But
bet.
yeah, and I have to tell you, come from a family with 9 kids, and we didn't have money. So
Wow.
9 kids.
9, right?
That's incredible. Where are you in the 9?
I'm number 6. So my parents
Wow.
had 5 kids, and then they had a 5-year lull where they got amnesia, and then like, so I actually found out there's a word for multiple births like that. Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. 3 kids later, I agree. It must have been really painful. But anyway, yeah. So I didn't have a lot of money. I actually went with $40.
Oh my God.
Really? Oh my goodness.
What you do is you go there, and the reason being partially is because they say you don't have to bring anything because we'll take care of you. We'll front you everything for your rent and your food and your transportation. And then as you start working, we'll take, get the money back. So that's what I did. And that was an amazing year for a 18-year-old.
Life-changing, right?
Yes,
I've been in
amazing.
Texas
Yes.
before. I'd never been anywhere else.
Yeah,
And
that's enormous.
Yeah, and the first job I got was in Les Deux Alpes in Grenoble, France, for Adidas, up in the Alps. So it was cold again. I was like, God,
Inescapable.
loves me and he hates me. It's a love-hate relationship. But the second trip I got a couple months later was to the Maldives, a tropical, gorgeous, most amazing place I've ever been. Actual favorite trip ever. So I got to do runway, did a lot of print, did some commercials there, and I had brought my Texas Instruments cassette player. It was very high tech at the time. I think it was like $7 or something. And I
Texas
brought Van
Instruments.
Halen 1 and Purples Burn. And I was in a model apartment with 2 other models. And because I got there third, I got the living room was my bedroom.
Oh,
And I would say because Van Halen was, they're from Pasadena, so they're kind of like hometown boys, and that was a bit of home. I, played them incessantly. And in the living room, all night, all day, until my roommates were just hating my guts. They were like,
so you knew all the songs word
all
by
the
word, right?
songs. And I kind of joke around, but it was true. If I got really homesick, and coming from family of 9 kids and always a million people around and a big support system,
Yeah.
I get homesick, and I would, when Jamie's crying would come on, I'd be like,
Oh.
so yeah, that was an amazing year. I came home for about a year and a half, established more in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And doing a few commercials here, and mostly print and everything. Then I went back to Europe for another year and a half, 2.5 years. I'm sorry. And
also France.
Yeah, so I lived in Paris for a year when I went, when I
Wow.
first went,
Okay.
and then I lived in Milano, Italy for 10 months.
Wow.
Wow.
How cool.
Munich, Germany
cool.
for a year.
Wow.
Ja, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, aber nicht so gut jetzt.
Wow.
My Italian's much better.
DC, I think she just said you better write her a big check for being on this show.
It's not all zeros.
Right. No, we'll put a period in front of the zeros. So it's on that.
Where it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, it looks a little better that way.
So when and the best part about that was going places not only that you couldn't afford as a young person, but also that you wouldn't pick, because when we're here in America, we're going to Mexico, we go to Hawaii, we do things like that. So
Right.
go to like the Maldives, and I'd be in Tokyo, and then I'd be in the Black Forest of Germany.
Wow.
That's incredible.
What an experience.
Yeah, really, really was. And, such a blessing to be able to to do that. And then when I came home the second time, it was 1984. And,
Wow.
got here and just hit the ground running because, MTV had exploded, obviously,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And so along with commercial and print interviews, I started getting music video interviews. I thought that Van Halen, so I lied on another podcast, but
We
I
won't
thought Van
tell them.
Halen was my first. Sorry. I could make a joke out of that, but I won't. It was Diana Ross and Julio Iglesias.
Okay.
Kind of all dancing kind of a thing. And then, I think around August, I got a call from the agency. This is before cell phones and before, it was
Sure.
answering machines. So I'd call in the morning and call in the evening to get whatever interviews I had. And I had called in the morning, and she said, "Oh, okay, you have a Frito-Lay commercial interview at such and such a time, and you have a Dial soap commercial at such and such a time, and Van Halen music video at 3:00." And then I just went, "What?"
You're like, what?
Yeah, excuse me.
You did the double take on that one. Yeah.
And I'm extremely professional, but being a huge Van Halen fan, I was like,
Sure.
what's the
Score.
I asked what the video was. And they're like, well, they didn't tell us the song. So, and I had the 1984 album. I assumed it was off of that, which it was. So I had gone to the casting that day, and when I got there, was a casting director I'd been to several times. And we always had to do an improv for most commercials you go on. You slate your name and everything in your agency, but also they'll have you do a little improv that's kind of to do with what you'll be doing in the commercial if you get it. So they had a little bit more of a setup. I think they had like a table, and I know they had a ruler and something else. So she just said, "You're a teacher giving a giving a class in a class, and giving an instruction. Go." So I went,
Wow.
"This is hot for teacher."
It gave it away to you. Yeah. Yeah.
So you knew right away. That's
So I knew,
incredible.
yeah, I
That's
knew.
cool stuff.
I thought
Yeah.
the ruler was there on accident, and then I picked that sucker up. And so I picked it up, and I just started walking, kind of back and forth, and I was slapping the ruler on my hand. No wonder they picked me for the detention teacher.
Right.
Ready to dole out punishment.
Right.
Yeah, because I grew up Catholic and the whole,
Right. Rulers are a big deal. Yes.
So I just, you kind of fly by the seat of your pants with improvs. And I just said, class, I have a math question for you today. And then I looked in the camera and I aimed the ruler at the lens and I said, what does 36, 24, 36 add up to? And after it came out,
That's
I was
brilliant.
like, wow, was that too much? But of course, it's Van Halen. Of course, it was not. But
Right.
But I was really like, oh. And then I went, good answer. And then I turned around to walk away. And because I knew the song, I turned around and I said, I'm going to need to see you after school.
That's awesome.
Oh, classic.
Now,
Perfect.
That's classic.
now,
Oh,
Lori,
wow.
I'm gonna dish on DC here for a minute. He
Okay.
prefers
Of course.
he prefers the Sammy Hagar Van Halen, so we don't care much for him. See, I told you, David Lee Roth is the man. With Van Halen.
I like
Hey, who?
both.
I'm just kidding.
I like both. I'm just a
good
huge
thing-
Van Halen, period.
Yeah, me too. But the good thing about both of them is Eddie's there.
Yes.
That's
Well, I was
correct.
going to ask
Right.
you. I was going to
That's
ask
the
you
glue.
about the picture in the background with Eddie Van Halen with the guitar and all. That is cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a
so-
little bit about that.
Well, just week of lockdown. So Niels Lozauer was the only God of Rock Photography. He toured with them, lived with them basically, and everybody else did everybody's album covers, all the magazines. So he was the only one allowed to take photos. I used to take my Polaroid with me. So I have a ton of Polaroids from other videos, commercials, all kinds of stuff. But I was so upset I couldn't bring my Polaroid there. But Neil took photos, and we also did these. So this is in front of Waldo's car in the end, because the three of us girls are Waldo's girls.
Right.
And nobody's sure what happened to Waldo after graduation. And so then we hijacked Dave for the publicity shots for this. And so there's a couple, I wish I could go way up there. I don't know. Let's see if I can go way up there. I don't know if you can see that.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah. That's
Oh, I
awesome.
see Eddie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is from Neil's book, and we have a picture in that from his a visual. Let me see.
Look at that
a
picture
visual
of Eddie.
history.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
So I was on a commercial interview, and I was in town, and I was going by Neil's street where his studio is, and I thought, what the heck? I had this book, and I had sent it to a guitarist friend of mine in Massachusetts because he was like, where'd you get that? And I just sent it to him. And so I needed another one. And I thought, I'll just go in there and see if he's got one. And I parked and I walked up to his door. And right as I get up there, he comes out with a little baggie of trash. And there's a trash can out on the street. And he puts it like, Neil? Hey, and I'm like, you might not remember me, but it's Lori. And he's like, hey, come on in. So I came in, and he's like, how, what, he goes, oh, what year was that? I'm like, 1984.
Right.
And he's like, yeah. And he goes, so, he's got all these motorcycles, because he's a motorcycle guy. So it looks like a machine shop, basically, or a motorcycle shop. And then he's to the right, he's got all these classic, photos he's taken of Bowie and Zeppelin and Halen, everything.
Wow.
And then he has these metal, probably shouldn't be saying this. He's got these metal filing cabinets, and he goes through and he's like wheedling through, and he brings out the not a proof sheet, but the slides in the plastic.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Originals.
Wow.
And he pulls out this segment, and he goes, pick a couple, I'll print them for you. And he did, and he signed them. And I'm like,
Wow, that's so
And-
cool.
That is
not
awesome.
or the archives, National Archives.
Right.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so and he heard I was working on a fundraiser for St. Jude, and he gave me three, not even asking, he gave me three prints, some of the Stones, Queen, and
Wow.
and signed
Whoa.
for this
Wow.
fundraiser.
So
and
cool.
I got those frames. So it was very cool of him.
Can you
So that's
imagine what kind of money was in that filing cabinet?
Wow.
I
I
mean,
couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
the memories
Wow. That
alone,
is so cool.
Right. Yes.
That is
The,
so cool.
the memories and the nostalgia.
the
Wow.
nostalgia. I mean, I remember
Mhm.
watching in his documentary, It's in Your Face. and on YouTube, and he was telling a story about when he was like 15, he had a camera, a real camera, and a zoom lens that he'd hid down his pants because remember when we went to concerts, we couldn't take cameras in. We had to hide stuff and
Right.
That's true.
find, see us. And so, yeah, so that was awesome that he did that. And
Yeah, very cool.
really happy to have them.
Yeah,
And,
that is extremely cool.
yeah.
I actually wanted to ask about some of your philanthropy, actually, because I saw that you're a vegan, so you do some stuff for animals and also for children. Would you mind
Yeah.
telling us a little bit about
Yeah.
that? That's so
Sure.
cool.
I started, meeting people that I had a personal trainer at the gym, and he was this, I thought he was like 19. I'm like, okay, 19-year-old's training me fine. That's what I need, a newbie, because, and he didn't push it, but he just said, yeah, I'm vegan, because I was going to offer to bring him something that I'd cooked. He goes, well, I'm vegan. And so I started kind of, understanding about that. He was 30, by the way. Looked 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, still looks 30. 19. But so I got involved in some animal rescues, like St. Martin's Animal Rescue and Puppies
Oh,
Without
that's
Borders and things like
phenomenal.
that. And then I just started to really, really find out about, and I saw that the majority of the vegans did it not for a diet, but for the
Mhm.
animals,
The
and animal
treatment of animals,
yeah,
absolutely.
and because if we use it as a diet, you tend to fall off of it because, when we are all dieting, there's that day you go, I'm gonna have a rack of ribs and
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I'll hop back on that diet tomorrow, but
Right.
yes.
Yeah, the ribs are
so,
looking good. Yeah.
videos and then you work at Animal Rescue and see some other
Mhm.
terrible stuff in person, then you start to say, I'm gonna do it for the animals, and then I can't not do that. I
Yeah.
Right.
go back.
Yeah.
So that's so we've had fundraisers and rescues and adoptions, and I am a foster fail person, supposed to like bring a dog to a person, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna keep this dog.
That would be my problem. I'm like,
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
problem I'd fall into.
Yeah.
it would be hard for me. Once a dog's in the home, they're going to be here.
That's it.
It's just the way it is.
Right. So that's with, that and that. And then I am a mother of a cancer survivor daughter. She had a really rare
Oh,
cancer,
wow.
What?
Amazing.
retinoblastoma.
Wow.
I know.
Oh
So
my
she was 19
goodness.
months when she was diagnosed, and lived in Children's Hospital Los Angeles for a good 6 months. She had 5 rounds of chemo and 5 infections, and she had
Oh, wow.
optic
Oh
nerve
my
invasion,
God.
so she got like really intense brain tumor chemo. So I got to see firsthand. I got to live, unfortunately,
Oh
Mm.
my goodness.
that whole. We roomed with sometimes, one or two kids, and we were on the oncology floor, and the hemonc where and leukemia,
Sure.
and you just it's something I wouldn't wish on any child or parent
No.
ever.
I
No,
can't even
can't
imagine.
me
It is
either.
the unimaginable.
It is
And you probably
aside
can't
from
even
them dying, it is the unimaginable, and
oh
you're very, and you just through all of that, I am so blessed, and I consider myself so very lucky
Mm.
to have come out of that. And she came through it, and she's 21
yeah.
now, gorgeous.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, and
wonderful.
she has, some neuropathy from the chemo, and she has some PTSD from the treatment because it's pretty radical,
I
So
bet.
it's a lot. And when they're babies, you can't explain, they're
Yeah,
babies.
right. They
They're
don't understand
4,
anything.
right? And when they're 4, you can
Ugh.
explain some of it. You have a boo-boo in your eye, but
Right.
verbal like that, they just know you're torturing them. So she's
Right.
had to deal with
Oh,
some PTSD in therapy, but she's a warrior, to say the least. And
Yes,
wow.
definitely.
she, really takes care of her, does self-care, and she's doing great. So I'm really happy about that.
Fantastic.
My
Yes.
Mm.
friend, yeah, so my friend Patrick Warburton, from Putty on Seinfeld and Kronk and
Oh yeah.
all the commercials and movies he's been in. He started working with St. Jude's, and I grew up, Catholic. So my dad, we loved, Danny, Aunt Thomas, and the whole thing, and my, we always gave to St. Jude's and things like that. So it's also like one of the best foundations that you can give to, because most of the money goes directly to the hospital.
Right.
Sure.
So
Sure.
in children's, I watched people go broke. I watched people lose
Oh,
their apartments, because when you have two parents and they're both working, and then one has to literally just stop doing what they're doing and stay, even parenting your other children, which is a whole nother thing, and do that. You don't like have your child there and you go, I'm going home for the night. See ya. I'm going to work.
No.
So
yeah.
with St. Jude's, that's not the case. They housing, they pay for everything. Whatever insurance doesn't pay, they pay.
Really? I did not
That's
know that.
amazing.
That
Yes.
is incredible.
Yes, it is. It is. Look at it's one of the top 10. I think it's
Yes.
like 2 or something. So he started like 14 years ago, and so I help with the auction, and I
Oh,
get
fantastic
donations,
stuff.
guitars,
That's good. For
whatever I can get, and
Yeah.
donate that. And then I work, and we set everything up, and they're through, and they have the most amazing music night.
Yeah.
We're headliners.
Yes.
DH and myself had a buddy in high school that his son was in St. Jude's,
Oh,
and like you
Here in
said,
Nashville, yeah.
they took care of everything for him,
Yes. Amazing.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
he's
they do
doing
amazing
fantastic.
work.
And they're number one for leukemia research, and
Right.
they've got the survival rate up to like 97% from like 40,
Yes.
over the years.
Yes.
And they share all of their research, which
Mm.
a lot of hospitals don't do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to do. That's coming up actually next
It's
month.
amazing that you pay that back and you're doing so
Yes.
much. Like that is
Yes.
really,
Tells a lot
it's
about you.
amazing. It
Yes,
does.
it
It
does.
sure does.
Sure
Thank
does.
you. You
Beautiful
feel like
on the
Yes.
inside
you know what I
too.
mean?
That's right.
Mhm.
Yes,
That's exactly right.
it's amazing. Yes, and everyone here at D&D, we appreciate what you do and what you give back, because just making that difference for kids. I mean, we have an organization that
Yeah, this will
we
be up your
support
alley, Lori.
that we'll talk about
Yeah.
a little
In
later.
detail. Yeah, we
Yeah,
always
but,
shout them out, of course.
But what they do is they actually make like princess head coverings and superhero head coverings, and it's all volunteers, and
It's all
they give it to the
volunteers and it's
kids for
free to the
free
kids for
that are
Cancer.
battling
Love it.
cancer. So
Yeah.
we'll do that at the end of the show, kind of give them a shout out. But
God bless
you know,
them. I can't
they-
tell you how much we appreciated the volunteers. There would be police and firemen that would come Christmas Day away from their own families and come into the room.
Wow.
I don't want to start crying, but they'll come into the room and come and say hi and bring a toy to your child, And
Oh my
Wow.
God. That's going to make me
That
cry.
doesn't shock. That doesn't
Oh
shock.
my
I
God.
can't
That
even
doesn't
tell
shock
you.
me one bit.
And
That does
friends-
not surprise me
and
at all.
friends that did like
Yeah,
food
that's
trains
fantastic
and things
stuff.
when they have their own families, and we know how
Sure.
hard it is to parent to even just get dinner on the table half the time. Like,
Right.
make your kids dinner, make somebody else dinner, drive it to them, come back. So man, appreciate every
And-
single volunteer,
and
and
you-
that's why I love to volunteer.
And with
Yeah,
everything
that is
that's going on in the
beautiful.
world, that is just a prime
Yeah.
example that there is still a ton
Bright light.
of good
Bright
people
light.
and bright lights out there in
Absolutely.
this world.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes, that is amazing. Yes, very much so.
Wow.
I'm gonna change the tone just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So this
Is it
is
survey time?
this is the question of the night, Lori.
Oh,
and
man.
what this is
Here we go.
on Friday mornings, and DC says
She was
Yeah,
leaving.
well, your decision on this will determine whether you get to continue the show or we end. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Friday
Maybe more,
mornings.
Sammy.
Yeah. Friday morning we have, this is one of those really high budget shows. We do the post show debriefing at the local Waffle House Friday morning.
Okay.
So we do this survey, and somehow this has become a fan favorite. I don't know how, but
Well,
what
that's
we
more
do-
fun than what we really do.
What we do is we've both chosen. Well, for me and you, yes. What we
That's what I'm
do.
saying.
Our guests are amazing,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we've both chosen performers,
Okay.
and you get to choose your favorite of the two. Now, DC always says I try to cheat, so I'm going to let him tell you who they are. And while he's doing that, I'm going to sit over here like a renegade with too much time on my hands to let him tell you this. Okay, so I'm just a renegade with too much time on my hands. That's all I'm. I'm not trying to slant anything,
You
DC.
just absolutely killed me, man.
DC, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
conversation.
So here's the
It's in
deal.
writing.
Yes. It is Foreigner versus Sticks.
Oh, I dropped my drumsticks. Oh man, let me pick the Wow, I'm clumsy over here tonight.
Which one you would
It
prefer
sticks.
the most?
It sticks, though. It sticks.
Oh my gosh!
It's
I'm
hard.
with you. Yep, sticks. Yep.
Just by a
here's
little,
what's
but it's
sad, folks.
Renegade.
Hey, what can I say? So when I'm drinking my coffee Friday morning, DC, you're gonna have to sing "Renegade" into Waffle House.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
And I was
No,
invited.
they won't want me to do that.
Hey, you're invited, Christine. You're invited. Everybody, come on down to the Waffle House. DC's buying.
I always buy because I always lose.
I just think of Jim Gaffigan's Waffle House jokes, and it's
Yes.
Hey,
one particular I probably shouldn't
yeah.
even say that.
we have to tell Lori who we matched Van Halen against. Do you remember? It was like one of the first ones we ever did. We've done this forever.
Yeah, go ahead, because I had Van Halen, so it's all good.
Who was it though? It's been a while.
So you had Motley Crue.
Yeah, that's who it was.
And Van Halen.
Oh,
Right.
Van Halen.
And see,
Yeah,
no
Van Halen.
brainer.
Agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer.
Now I love Motley Crue. Don't get me wrong. I'm the metal guy, but
Right.
you can't be. No one's going to top Van Halen in my
Right.
book.
No,
That's right.
they're
Let me clarify. David Lee Roth's version of Van Halen in my book.
they have such a deep catalog of music, and
Yes,
and there's just that's hard to beat. I just
it
got
is.
to them, Motley Crue, and I saw Van Hagar recently, but I got to see Motley Crue in their Hollywood takeover, and people had to like sleep overnight on the street and get
Wow.
Oh wow.
3 different venues: the Whiskey, the Roxy,
Yeah.
and the Troubadour. And I was very lucky, and I got gifted tickets, and all my friends hated me.
Wow.
They
Awesome.
waited in line. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to go see them in one of the venues I'd seen them before, right next door to the Rainbow Bar and Grill. And it was a treat. But Van Halen.
I have to get out.
Yep.
I have to get out that way sometime and see those just iconic places.
Oh yeah.
The
Come out
whiskey,
before, like-
and all those places where all these guys and gals have gone through and made music history. That
you
would be
gotta go
so awesome.
to the Rainbow and
Yes.
sit in Dio's booth or
Yeah.
and their pizza's great. They have all kinds of
Yeah.
vegan options. That's
Yeah.
another reason I love them. And go to a show at the Whiskey.
Yeah.
Maybe see the Viper Room across the way from that.
Viper Room. That's
Oh
awesome.
wow.
But DC,
Um,
there's only one problem with that. Your bedtime's 7:30 and the show.
Well, that's
start
true.
till 8,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. That's
you're
true.
old now.
They'll just
Yeah.
have to
May
see
miss
the
the show.
opener.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty open.
Yeah. The show wouldn't even get started.
But everything they say about the Sunset Strip and Hollywood and Los Angeles and the 80s, it doesn't even do it justice, because it was the most amazing, unbelievable time. The work here, it was just flourishing. Bands were coming from all over, and it felt like everybody was making it. Everybody was getting
Yeah.
deal. The shows were insane, and
The 80s was it was crazy. It
there
was
was so many
crazy.
people on the street, in and out of the clubs. I mean, it was like walking down Fifth Avenue in New York, where you see that rush hour after work thing. It was like that, and you'd have a friend playing over here, or somebody good playing over there. Somebody popular you'd play over there, and then you stop in at the Rainbow and have a drink or get some pizza, and and you just like I was going, because of my older brothers and sisters, I was going since I was really young, probably went before I was supposed to go to some of the places. I was tall, so I got away with it. But, we would walk down the street. I remember walking with my sister and her boyfriend, and David Bowie was walking next to us,
Oh my God.
with the
Wow.
Rainbow, and sitting in a booth with Alice Cooper. And I'm talking 70s Alice Cooper, 70s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And just even now, everybody,
cool
their brother
story.
plays there still, and lives in the area, which is nice. So, we get to see a lot of fun, 80s bands, 90s, things like that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and they have a backyard bash, the Rainbow does, and their anniversary bash, which is coming up in April. And they always have like 7 different bands play, and the people watching is
Fun.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do people like dress up and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, everybody's rock and roll.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great time. Lita Ford has headlined, and Panther has
Oh,
headlined, and
oh
Wow.
my
Football
God.
Boys and Sebastian Bach and Accept and Faster Pussycat. Just lots of fun people.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
We interviewed Rudy Sarzo,
Yeah, yeah, yep. Seen Rudy around. Yep.
and he told, maybe it's in his book, but I think he told me on air about it too. Meeting one of the guys from not Motley Crue, but group he was with, Quiet Riot.
Oh, quite right.
Yeah, when they were going to get, and
Yeah.
it was at one of those places.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I would have to go back and watch the show, but yeah,
I mean,
and I think I read it in the book too. He's got a
yeah.
fabulous
Probably
book out.
Well, I'm sure yeah. But I mean, I remember I'd done a commercial with Heather Locklear for, it was Holiday Health Spa, but it played nationally in whatever your local health spa was, Chicago Health Spa, whatever health spa. It was Bally's.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
I remember all
So I
this.
was in that with her. So we spent couple days together and
Oh, that's so cool.
talking. And she, I think it was I don't know how much longer after that. My brother Tommy and I went to see a group called Trouble, and I believe it was at the Roxy. And Tommy Lee and Heather were sitting there at a table, and I walked by, and we kind of looked at each other and went, "Hey!" And so my brother and I got to sit down and hang out with them for a little bit.
Wow.
But
Oh, wow.
and
That's incredible.
I told Tommy, my brother Tommy here, because my brother Tommy's like 6'5", and he looked like Tommy Lee, but he did have super long hair at one time. But yeah, so I'm like, this is my brother, looks like you. And we wanted to go be by the stage, so we left the table. Hardcore, we didn't want to be backstage or anything, we want to be in front stage.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, they went to go see shows too,
Isn't that awesome?
You never think of that though,
good.
right?
You don't.
Right. No.
Yep, they're humans.
And what are the chances?
Exactly.
Right.
They're trying to live as much of a normal life
I
for
just
them
think-
as they can.
I just think it's hilarious, Lori, that you just blew them off. Yeah, we're gonna.
I know.
Yeah.
My sister used to she did a lot of the rock and rollers hair at the time. Her boyfriend was in a band, and their manager she was really good friends with, Vicky Hamilton, and we're still friends with. And I think she came home one day and she's like, "Oh, I've got this demo tape, and it's really good. You should listen to it. I just cut their hair in their carport or something."
Oh.
Guns N' Roses before Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
I wish I had that demo tape, but
Wow.
Guns N' Roses
Out
before they were
demo
Guns N'
tapes.
Roses. That is wild.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Mm.
That is
That is
awesome.
just yeah.
So
fantastic
can I
story.
ask another question? These guys I'm always coming with a bunch of questions, but
No, that's great.
I love to hear. You've done so much, right? And you've interacted with so many people. You've done so many different lines of work. What was your biggest challenge?
As in,
I guess whether you were doing print work or commercials, and I don't know if you have a favorite number one out of any of those. And out of any, what was the most difficult, or do you have any specific challenges with any one of those in particular?
well, I would say definitely Van Halen's my favorite video, because I'm just such a huge fan of theirs. And that was just like,
I mean, the video is iconic.
blown
Even
to
watch,
yeah, we had no idea how cool that. I mean, we knew it was Van Halen was going to be cool, but we had no idea that would end up being like the classic 80s.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just rewatched it again. I was like, oh, this is such a great.
Yeah,
you see all the hair, and you see like the buildup of the whole story. You're like, my God.
Were you able to hang out for all the parts? Like Eddie playing down the table and all that stuff. Did you get to see that live?
And they were shooting literally everything in that school. You had, I think, 2 different auditoriums where they did their dance. I didn't get to see them dance, but I did hear, people were coming back from there and crew and whoever, and just laughing that Alex couldn't dance. He couldn't. But that's
Right.
the funny part in the
Yeah.
video where he's spinning opposite of everybody.
Yes.
And I got to watch a little bit of like Lori Butler's role where she rips her dress off and dances on the table. So I got to see some different
Little parts of it. Yeah.
but also we would be setting up while they're setting something else up in another room.
I see.
So but hanging out with them in that jail cell scene was such a kick because I just realized then and there that they were knuckleheads, just like my
Well, that was my next question. Were they easygoing and friendly to you guys? And
Eddie was the nice. I mean, here at that time was the rock god of the universe, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he was so sweet, always had a smile on his face, great attitude, just a sweetheart. And he plopped himself down on the floor in the jail cell scene. Everybody, the young Van Halen and the rest of the band, and then Dave was out front in front of the
Of course, yeah, front man. Yeah.
and Eddie could have sat there, but he kind of laid on the floor, twirling a cigarette in his mouth, and so I was in like the big stilettos and lingerie, and then the big hair, and then the added hair to my big hair, and
Oh, wow.
to make me look menacing, and I had a whip, and so I had to walk back and forth for the blocking before we'd shoot, and I couldn't look down because they're trying to figure out like how and Eddie was on the ground like going like this, pretending he was gonna kick like I was going attack of the 50-foot woman because I
yeah, because you were tall anyway.
Him or another one said towering inferno.
How tall are you?
Well, I'm 5'11", but
that's
I had like that.
Oh my gosh! Right.
Hair. You saw
the hair.
Yeah. So I'm like 7'2" or something in it. And then during one segment, I said to Eddie, I'm like, Valerie came to the set, and I think maybe 2 days, but one of the days she was sitting just at a table alongside our set. And I said, "Did you think it's okay if I meet Valerie?" Because she was like America's sweetheart at the time. She was on her show. I think still,
Yes.
I got a kick out of it. He's like, "Sure, come on." So went over there, and I remember actually saying to her, which like, duh, I'm like, "I don't usually look like this." Well, it's like, of course you don't. She knows you're playing a part. So and I just said, "It's so nice to meet you," and that was about it, and everything. But she was really sweet, and so that was fun. And then I've told the story before, but it's certainly funny if your viewers haven't heard it. But I was standing next to Dave, and he had a mesh shirt on,
Yep.
Like about normal.
I said to him, "Hey, do they sell men's clothes where you got that?" I probably, I like took my chances, and he thought that was.
Did he laugh?
Yeah, he just did a Dave thing like, oh. And then and then I said, "Yeah, I really like it. Where did you get it?" And he said, "Oh, I made it myself, man." So I took a pair of fishnets, and I cut the crotch out for the neck, and I cut the feet off for the arms, for the hands, and the waistband's the waistband. And
oh my God,
that's awesome. I'm like, I got taught how to make a shirt from David Lee Roth. I went home and I cut up every pair of my fishnets.
Now, why does that not shock me? That,
at all.
David Lee Roth would do
right?
that.
I know. Me neither.
Yeah,
that's classic. That would be classic David Lee Roth.
Yes,
such an 80s look too. Yeah.
Yes,
yes. It's got 80s.
I like to tell people if I meet somebody and they find out, or they have a Van Halen shirt on. I just did this at NAMM. I just go up and I'm like, "I like your shirt," and I go, "I never tell anybody this, but I was in jail with Eddie."
That's true. That's true.
I
How many people can say that?
And they go, "Well, how's a woman in jail with?" And I go, "I'll show you."
Now, in the scene that you're talking about, is it what is that? Is it an hourglass or something that's in that shot?
Dave is holding the hourglass.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you were or he was.
No, I was walking back and forth, and I pushed young Dave down. He goes, "I don't feel tardy."
Okay.
You're tardy, and that's why you're here, buddy. Yeah.
Right.
I was looking around. he said something to me like while we're, and I don't know, he says, "What if I say this or do that?" And I just looked at him and I'm like, "Watch it, Junior." Kidding, because I was so menacing looking. I was playing, I was staying in character. And then all the guys were just laughing and rolling. Like I was like, Van Halen laughed.
What kind of age was those guys? The young Van Halen
They were like
guys.
13, 14.
Okay.
Probably maybe some a little younger, but I'm not quite sure. But I know it
Sure.
was,
Well, I mean, in that ballpark, yeah.
yeah, in that
Gotcha.
ballpark.
Okay.
And I remember Lori Butler, who the second teacher. There's 3 teachers. There's just a whole big thing about this.
Yes. Was she the PE teacher?
Don't get me started.
Physical ed teacher?
Well, you have Donna Rupert's the first teacher,
Okay.
and she kind of walks back and forth and her thing with the blue bathing suit on, the blue bikini.
Right.
And she also was in the dance segment when Dave dips her once in that.
Yep.
That is Donna Rupert. And then the second teacher, and a lot of people think they're the same teacher because they both have short blonde hair. And she has like a white-ish tank top on and blue bottoms. And she comes out, she's supposed to be the cafeteria teacher. There's phys ed and
the PE teacher.
it's chemistry. So she comes out, Waldo has his tray and he's bumping into things. So it's supposed to be the cafeteria, but you kind of don't get it, it kind of doesn't translate when she comes out and rips her dress off. And then that's my friend, Lori Butler. I had worked with her before, and she gets kind of on her knees and she's dancing like that. And I remember after she did that, she came in and she was like, "I was a little uncomfortable dancing like that in front of these kids, and they're like,
Yeah.
Right.
And then Brian Hitchcock, who played young Eddie, kind of confirmed that because recently he wrote an article, I think it was in Van Halen News Desk, saying that when she was doing that scene and they were told to reach for her, just kind of like that they were a little hesitant. And Brian went to his mom and said, "Mom, we're supposed to reach out." And she goes, "You go over there and do your job." That's an 80s mom for you, right?
Yeah, that's
Right,
an 80s mom. Yep.
Find me a pack of cigarettes. Here's your note.
Yep.
But yeah, so so that was, but we worked for 3 days. I actually have my 2 call sheets that I found from the video.
Wow, that's
Oh,
awesome.
no way.
Yeah, the first one, I'm such a pack rat. The first one was delivered to my apartment in Northridge the day before the shoot and by courier. No email, knock on the door.
Right. Yeah.
Here it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuller Brush Man. And yeah, and then the second one they'll give you on set for the next day and then the next day like that. And I had no recollection that I kept them, but I'm going through my boxes with like scripts that I'd had and things like little scripts for commercials. And there was the one from day one. It has everybody's time to be in makeup and then on set and the scenes we were shooting that day and so on. So I can't find day 3 yet, but I know it's probably somewhere since I kept the other 2. But Brian Hitchcock has one because the kids had to come back, I think, the 4th day. And so there's a woman named Lillian Mueller, who I believe was brought in. I mean, this is what I believe to be true, brought in as a body double for Lori Butler, because I've had to come into other jobs and like redub something verbally that, on a commercial or something, or reshoot something if they didn't have enough or wasn't right after they finished everything. So I think she was brought in for a body double. So she's like this, and they have the same outfit on her, so to look like Lori Butler, and she's going back and forth on this table. So I think they just needed that extra footage, and Lori wasn't available. David Lee's people called me to do California Girls, and I wasn't available. I was doing a Pantene. So that happens. But so it's kind of funny. A lot of interviews, and Grunge has like 2 million views, and they're like, the teacher from Hot for Teacher music video. Lillian. At first, when I first heard this, I didn't know she was in it at all. I was like, what is happening? And I and I know Niels Lozauer was like, yeah, we worked the 3 days. She wasn't there with any of us, and she's not on the call sheets. Like, so I know that she was brought in like that. And she's on Howard Stern, and they're showing pictures of Lori Butler and Donna Rupert saying it's her. So it's kind of interesting. Like it's just a really interesting thing. But yeah, somebody just a friend of mine that works in production got a mass email to their production company saying if anybody knows anybody to do with the Hopper teacher. So I emailed the guy, and its whole thing's going to be a documentary on her.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
No,
In Norway.
that's crazy.
Wow.
So she's gonna they're gonna be the most, and the guy texts me back, and I kind of, on the low key said, oh, this is my scene, Lori Garland,
Yeah.
Garland Tucker, and this is Donna Rupert, and I showed her picture, and then I showed Lori Butler and her scene where she rips her dress off, and then that's Lori Butler, just to kind of like
Yeah.
Educate.
Hey.
Yes. By the way,
this and all our publicity shots. This was in Cream magazine. That's Donna Rupert, Lori Butler. So he said, oh, okay, is it a great info? Can we call you when we go into production? And I put, sure. And he goes, it's going to be about the most famous playmate, your fellow teacher, Lillian Mueller.
oh God. Okay.
Father, it's not my part, she's saying, it's not my part. She's
Right.
doing the whole thing. But evidently she's taking credit for so it's kind of
You would think that she would clarify it.
Right?
You would think,
right?
yes,
I mean, this is
yes.
the right
And
thing
she
to do.
did
And just
work.
by the way,
Right.
But it's like you said,
and
it's
did
such
do
an iconic video.
Yeah. And
So if you had a little part in being in that, you want to publicize that.
right. It's just, so it's just it was a little interesting because at first I was like, who's that? It was like in the Twilight Zone about it. And then
right.
come to realize what happened. But
Wow.
what an experience. And then I know you asked that question. My second favorite video to work on was LA Guns, and that was really fun. That was like that was like really Hollywood trash metal.
Oh, nice.
That's up DH's alley.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was actually Headbanger's Ball.
Yes.
So we shot all over Hollywood. We shot at the Roxy. We shot on the Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard, behind the Palace Theater on Hollywood and Vine, up on Mulholland, downtown, and we didn't have permits, so it was like hit and run everywhere. And that was really fun. That was like my second favorite. It was
second favorite. Okay. Okay.
So cool.
working with Roger Rogers on Sunset Strip. That was pretty cool too, because I love Pink Floyd.
And now all of those great memories, and they had to be topped with an appearance on DND Dynamite 80s. I mean,
absolutely. That's got to be at the top of the pinnacle for you now.
Well, that's Van Halen wishes,
Yeah,
right below Van Halen.
Yeah,
we're second.
Way.
I'll take second to Van Halen. Yeah, way down the list. Second. Yeah.
I think Lori's saying on her list of the top 25, we're like 97th.
Don't say that. I said Van Halen wishes, which put you on top.
Right. See, there you go.
Right. Oh man, Lori, we appreciate your time.
Oh, we do. Yes.
Christina,
yes.
We will hope that you will come back and join us again sometime.
Sure, I'd love to.
So, right. Lori, what I'm going to say, and Christina's already a member of the family, so she's heard this. So I'm either going to tell you congratulations or condolences because you're now a member of the D&D Dynamite family. So whichever way you're going to look at it. Yeah,
can't do anything
we're there.
About
Sorry.
Right. You're my seventh and eighth brother, and my
there you go.
There you go.
There you go. See?
Awesome.
Can you hang with us as we close out?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Fantastic. Take it, DH.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. We would like to thank our guest, Lori Tucker, for joining us. And, of course, our special co-host. And, guys, I've seen all your messages.
It's the glue that holds us together.
DC, I've seen more messages tonight. Every time we have a guest host, they're like, well, you two guys shut up. Let them talk. So, Christina, thank you for joining us. Amazing job tonight. Look forward to having you back on as a co-host or interview, catching up again later.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Lori, we would love to have you back.
Thank you.
To visit.
We got to. We'll have to talk some more. That's
a matter of fact, last message just came in. Why don't you have them two back and you guys stay on? We can do that.
Forget it.
We can do that. We can do that.
Folks, on to something.
Yeah.
I think y'all on to something. Yes.
Yeah, I think y'all got this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch us on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker Radio, Radio Republic, YouTube, out in the Twitter sphere, on Instagram, Facebook, website, all DND Dynamite 80s, of course, Google Podcast. Big shout out. Of course, we do this every week, but Nashville Voyager Magazine and Campus Rebel did articles on D&D, so we appreciate that.
Yep.
We're also members of the Canyon Star TV family, so you can find us on their platform.
Yes.
So make sure and join us there. Folks, as I always end off before I throw it over to DC, remember, always be kind to each other because it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. DC?
No, amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, next week we got Diane Peterson. She's a stunt woman, stunt lady, and an author. So we'll catch up with all the cool stuff she's done. And
I wonder if she writes while she's doing stunts. We're going to have to ask that.
Yeah, that'd be a little dangerous. But anyway, we're excited to have her on next week. So that's going to be a good one as well, man.
Oh, yeah. Always another great one, brother. If you would, let's play our sponsors and we'll finish this thing off.
Yeah, let's play those sponsors in.
D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, PJG Marketing, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, Riley Rhodes Art Designs at rileyroads.art on Instagram, and the Magic Yarn Project.
Yes.
You can find all these great folks online.
Folks, if you are looking for some great organizations to contribute to, we are very blessed to be part of two amazing organizations to be friends with. The Magic Yarn Project, we talked a little bit earlier, and what they do, this is a group of volunteers, totally volunteer. They make head coverings and provide them for free to children that are battling cancer. So please support them. Also, our friend the Vooch back here, Charlie Bubbles.
Yes. Paul Carafotis.
Charlie Bubbles
appreciate
cares.
him.
Yes. Charlie Bubbles cares for kids. And what they do, if you make a donation to their organization, they'll provide a book for children that may not be able to afford those books. And as teachers, we know literacy is so important at a young age and all the way through.
Yep.
So anything you can do to help those organizations, just if it's positive thoughts, whatever you can give them, please share.
All right. Lori Tucker and Christina.
Thank you
DH,
so much.
we appreciate
It's a pleasure.
everybody's time.
Yes.
We had a blast.
Yes,
And
we did.
we hope all of you will come back and join us sometime soon. So,
Yes.
Absolutely.
all right.
Okay.
DC always leads us out. Keep playing those 80s, my friends. And we'll
See you next week, folks. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.